Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. I think we're live. I think the tech gods are on our side, I hope. You're now live. It says I'm live. Oh my god. Freaking finally. Well, thank you. Yeah, look at us. Hello there. Aloha, everybody. I think this is functioning right now. Let's see if everybody finds their way into the live stream, into this beautiful little online space here. Frame rate is too low, Facebook says, and I say, no, it's not. I say we are on track. I say the live stream is functioning, so please be so. Please be it. Everybody who's finding their way into the live stream, I'm gonna check on my phone real quick. I'm gonna use my phone to check if I'm actually live and if this streaming is smooth and available. So let's see what's up here. Are we live? Will I be seeing my face double right now? Oh my god, I am. This is funny. Check this out. Check this out. You can see myself in like maybe a couple of minutes late. Oh, and there's even subtitles that's available. That's really cool. Okay, so I think we're live. And I think I'm live here in this streaming. Yes, exactly. I'm live inside of the event itself. So let's see if everybody finds their way in. I'm not sure if y'all did so far. There's all these windows popping up that are like action needed, your current frame rate is too low, please set it to 15 to 60 FPS, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue how to do that. I'm like, I have no clue how to do that shit. Usually the stuff works, usually the streaming is live and smooth, and I see when people pop in. If anybody is watching, say hello in the comments. Let me know, like pop a hello like I just did. Hello! One of these. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Yeah, I'm connected to the right Wi-Fi, so all of that should work. All of that should work properly, except for all these windows. No, I think there is some people. Oh, Marilyn, hello. Hello, beautiful. So you can hear me, you can see me, all good. Thank you so much. Linda, well, don't ask me how to. Won't. We ain't tech geniuses here, and we don't need to be. We are here to learn about the alchemy of emotions. We're not here to learn how Facebook functions. Anyway, I see that you're here with me. Give me some interaction in the comments here and there. I will interact with you. This is an interactive live stream. Doesn't mean that you're here in screen with me, so I can't see your face, but you're sitting there and you can comment, you know, so I'll be asking some questions here and there, and I would wish for you to answer them in the comments so that I know that we're having a conversation and I'm not only having a monologue here, okay? So as you've seen in the description of this event, of this masterclass, I want to introduce you to a foundational concept that I call the alchemy of emotions. Jack is in. Hey Jack, welcome. The alchemy of emotions. And to give you a little overview on what expects you in this whole masterclass if you stick through the whole thing, I've written down the layout for myself here so I can just read it off and be as clear and proper with you as possible. So the first thing that I want to share with you, and that the main thing of this masterclass actually, is that you'll walk away with a set of practices that can help you alchemize your emotions. So that's the main thing you will walk away from. First up, I will introduce you to the whole concept. Like, what is this all about? What are we talking about when we're talking about emotions? And what are we talking about when I say alchemy? So I'm gonna dive deep into that with you for the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, I want to explain to you how we can take the core energy of an emotion and shift it into another one, which basically means alchemy. And in the description I wrote a couple of examples. From sad to tranquil, I wrote from overwhelmed to clear. I wrote from angry to empowered. I wrote from depressed to joyful, and from anxious to balanced. So these are the main ones that I'm going to focus on today, but the concept that you're going to learn applies to every emotion that you're feeling, especially to the ones that have a lower frequency signature, which we often identify as negative or as unpleasant. Emotions and feelings that we don't enjoy, right? So we're going to learn how to take the core energy of that and transmute it, infuse it into another emotion. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that I say we shouldn't feel our low frequency emotions. It basically means that we should receive them with love and learn to love them into another emotion, so that we become the guide and the translator from the energy that the emotion carries at its core, and we guide that into another space, into another emotional landscape. To do that, as the third thing in our masterclass today, I will introduce you to 4 pillars on how we can actually do that. These 4 pillars are the foundation of the practices that you're also going to learn. And at the end, I think I'm going to practice one of those with you. I'm going to see which one of those are most resonant with you, which ones you enjoy most, and then we're going to practice that together. And all the way at the end, if you enjoyed everything and everything that we've talked about makes you feel a very special, specific, loving, self-accepting way, because that's usually what my masterclasses do. They make you feel and get into a vibrant space of mind, heart, body, and spirit. There is another thing that I can offer you, which is a 12-week program in which we're going to really dive deep into the tools and techniques that I'm teaching, and I'm going to help you become them, live them, integrate them into your life, because that's just what it takes. The program I'll introduce to you at the end, some of you have heard of it, it's called the Become Your Medicine program, and that's what we're doing in there. We're becoming our own medicine. All right. So give me an emoji in the comments if you're excited, if you're ready to receive this beautiful deep dive with me. Give me your favorite emoji in the comments. So far, I've received comments from 3 of you. It looks like 4 people are watching right now. Beautiful. That's a sign that the live stream is functioning. Yeah, it's always a bit different. Like live streams and in-person talks, they always have a bit of different, setups and stuff. So in the tech world and the tech realm, I just need to rely on your feedback. In a room, when I talk to people personally, I know it because I see their faces and I see their reactions. So here it's great that I see you comment. Marilyn, yes. Ricciello, beautiful. Thank you for making it in. Lovely to have you in here. And I see that the stream seems to be functioning more or less proper. All right. Let's kick things off with taking a deeper look at emotions first. I'm going to take you step by step through this whole masterclass because it's important that we are understanding what we're talking about before I'm introducing you to the practices. Because, a lot of us have heard of meditation, for example. Like meditation is one of these practices that I teach on. And a lot of us have heard of it. Some of us have tried it. But let's be honest, who has really understood what that practice is supposed to do? Yes, it should calm your mind, or yes, it should do this and that. But how is it working at its root cause? And because everything that we are talking about and that I am teaching on and guiding people through is connected to emotions, I need us to understand what emotions actually are. So let me know in the comments what comes up for you when you hear the word emotions. Go wild right now. Let me know what's happening. What's coming up in your mind when I say emotions? What's the first thing you think of? Maybe an emotion you're feeling right now. Maybe an emotion that has a narrative presence in your life, meaning that it is every day you're feeling that exact same emotion. What comes up for you when you hear the word emotion? Bombard me in those comments. Fear. Hey, Stephen, you made it in as well. Beautiful. Fear. very strong emotion. It has a very heavy signature when we look at it in frequency. Okay, Linda says overwhelmed. That's an emotion that's coming through or that you experience a lot. Richie says angry, anger. Yeah. So the ones that you're listing so far, they are quite heavy frequencies. And when I talk about frequencies, I mean that our brain produces brain waves depending on the state it's in. Those are measurable in different categories, and I don't know if quantum physicians or scientists named it that way, but they called those brain waves according to the Greek alphabet. So we have beta brainwave state, we have an alpha brainwave state, we have a delta and a theta, and even a gamma brainwave state. There are 5 different ones. And as those brainwave states are also connected to different emotional spheres that we experience in our mind, because most of our emotions, they come through the mind. They come through the brain because they are connected to some sort of thought, some sort of memory, some sort of trauma experience. So the emotions that we're feeling often come through our brain because our brain translates every frequency that comes in from the outside or that is somewhere on the inside and comes up again. Give me a thumbs up in the comments or a yes if you're following. By the way, if I'm saying something and it's not clear to you, comment help. And then in the comments, let me know what you want me to reiterate or to dive deeper on. I really want to make sure that as you are showing up for this masterclass, that you really get to understand what I'm talking about here. Because if you do, it will change the rest of your life. Okay, Marilyn, yes, amazing, thank you. So every emotion has a different wavelength. It has a different frequency. Richie, thumbs up, thank you. Has a different frequency, right? And the ones that you've listed now, they have a heavy frequency. They have like quite a heavy wavelength. And that's why we also identify them as heavy and negative, right? And those feelings and emotions, they are unpleasant for us to feel. We don't enjoy, we don't appreciate often that they are coming up. Now, when we're looking at that, every emotion at its core is energy. This might blow your mind. It did when I heard it the first time. Emotion also translates to energy in motion. The E stands for energy, and then the motion stands for motion, movement. Energy in motion, right? Oh, hey, James. No worries. We're just getting started here. So tune in, chill into the space, and happy that you're here. Every emotion at its core is an energy, okay? An energy. And the motion that this energy is connected to is what makes it for us identifiable as a feeling, right? As a specific emotion, as you've listed before. Stephen said anxiety, overwhelm, fear. We had anger, right? So that's how we identify this frequency in our language, and that's how we can label it or identify it better as a feeling that we're feeling, an emotion that we're experiencing. Now, when it comes to the word alchemy, which is in the title of this masterclass, alchemizing basically means changing the substance, changing the structure of something. So how can we do that with an emotion, right? That's the big question. And that's the big question that everybody asks, because when we're having emotions and when we are having too many emotions or unidentifiable emotions or unpleasant emotions, it doesn't make us happy. Throughout the days or nights, we don't feel this sense of happiness, this layer of I'm okay from deeper within. If we don't feel that, we are simply not capable to alchemize the core energy of an emotion and transmute that, because every emotion at its core is energy. It's energy. And energy is a force. Energy sets things in motion. Energy creates. Energy uplifts. Make sense so far? So the biggest question that I see people ask, and of course they don't ask it in these exact words, because not a lot of people are aware of the lingue that I'm using. That's why I'm laying it out for us here step by step. But the biggest question is, how can I be okay? How can I be happy? How can I be okay with my emotions? How can I handle them? And more than that, how can I actually transmute them? Because there's this one level that a lot of people work on, which is called coping. Coping with your emotions, coping with life, coping with situations. At the core, we're always only coping with our own emotions, because everything that's happening on the outside is a reflection of what's happening on the inside and is a trigger. So what we're feeling usually comes from the inside, because it's translated through our mind or through our body, and that's how we perceive it, right? We've got 5 senses. We've got taste, we've got hearing, we've got touch, we've got vision, and we've got smell. That's how we perceive things, but the way they translate through our brain into our body and back to our mind, that's an internal process. So now that you know that, quit blaming others for the way you feel. Because now that you're in this masterclass, it is becoming your responsibility and nobody else's. They can trigger, they can call out, they can awaken what's happening on the inside already, or what is stored on the inside already, but they are not the responsible factor for the way you feel. That's a misconception that comes from a lot of Hollywood movies, a lot of these romance or even Bollywood movies, that others are responsible for the ways we feel. Right? Stephen Jones, you're saying, wow, that's insane. I agree. Holy fuck. I agree with you. So are you ready to take responsibility for your own emotions? And if so, yes, stick through this masterclass, because I'm going to give you the tools on how to do so, right? As we're needing tools to operate in the world, as we're needing tools to grow food and to understand what's happening around us, to work in our fields, as we're needing tools, we also need tools to maintain our mental landscape, our emotional well-being. We need tools for that. And the blessing is we don't have to create them. We don't have to create them. We have immediate access to them. Okay? So up until this moment, did you all understand what the concept of emotions is all about? That there's a range of emotions, and they at the core are energy, yet the frequency, the signature that is connected to that emotion, is a translation of how we feel it. Because our mind also has a frequency we can manipulate and change that, by the way. That's what I'm teaching inside of my Become Your Medicine program. I have a module on meditation and brainwaves, how we can change our brainwaves and pick up on different ones. Because if you align the brainwaves in your mind with the signature frequency of emotions that you'd like to feel, then you're calling in those emotions, because you're opening the parts of your mind that is receptive for those. Cool, right? Oh my god, I love talking about this. This is so exciting. Okay, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, or give me a heck yeah, I got it, I understand everything. Or ask a question. Ask a question at any time. I'll come back to the questions later on, or right in this moment if it's a burning hot question. Okay. Emotions, energy, and motion. Now that we know that emotions are energy and motion, right? And still we're kind of like, sometimes we're stuck in an energy, or we're feeling a certain way over days, over weeks, over months. When we're feeling a certain way over months, it turns away from an emotion or from a feeling, and it turns into a, what people in the medicine space call a disorder. A disorder, right? So like a mental disorder, for example. If we're feeling sadness, hopelessness, and anger in combination for a long time, and we're not using the practices you're about to learn to transmute them, to alchemize them, take the core energy and alchemize them into another emotion, or open up the energy so that the energy can choose its own higher level, higher vibrating emotion, we're not doing that. We are starting to suffer from mental disorders. Depression, anxiety disorder, PTSD. That's a little bit different at the source, but still it's connected to stored and stuck emotions in the body. Stored and stuck emotions. Now here we're having a dilemma because the emotion is an energy emotion, an energy in motion, and we're allowing it to get stuck. Doesn't make sense, does it? To me it doesn't. The dog's barking. Yeah, you go and bark. So if we're having an energy that is supposed to be in motion, but we're doing something that keeps it from being in motion, then what are we letting it do? We're not letting it be in its purpose. We're not letting it move through us. And that's the biggest issue, because when we're having stored and stuck emotions, let's say anger, for example, they can start manifesting in our muscles cramping up over a long time, in specific areas of our bodies being cramped up over a long time. That starts to cause the body this familiarity with being tensed up, and that leads to issues on the physical level. That leads to issues on the physical level, and then when we're having issues on the physical level, we are so easy to be diagnosed with any kind of disorder, are we? Steven says, wow, that's what causes anxiety then. That's the core cause of any disorder, is stuck energy that is supposed to be in motion. Right? So, let me introduce you to 4 pillars on how we can put the energy into motion. When I first heard of those, I was kind of mind blown, and now by the time being living on Bali, being into this work for such a long time, they became foundational for me. So every day I check in, hey, did you use all 4 of these pillars? Did you allow yourself to be in a state of movement, allowing the stuckness within to be in motion? Did you do all of those 4 pillars? So take out your notebooks if you haven't done so yet. I hope you do, because this is such high value that I'm throwing at you here. Right? I haven't even properly introduced myself, but I think most of you know me. I'm in touch with most of you via the DMs. So, yeah, I think you know who I am. It's funny because my mentor always says at the beginning of a masterclass, just introduce yourself. And I kind of forgot about it because all of the names that I'm seeing here in the comments, I've chatted with you all before. Right? Richie says, I'm sorry, this isn't your fault whatsoever. I'm falling asleep. Would I be able to receive the recording? Of course. Of course you are. Get some rest, and you'll have the recording when you wake up tomorrow. It's going to be saved in this exact link of the event. It's going to also be saved inside of my Facebook group, the Mental Health and Mindfulness Academy. Inside of that Facebook group, there is a guides section. It's either called info guides or guides, and it's in the top menu bar where you have about, discussion, events, and then you have guides. All the trainings that I'm hosting, especially the high quality ones, they are saved in there. So you can go and get them there as well. Yeah, have a good night, Richie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, ready for those 4 pillars? So these pillars are called expression pillars or movement pillars, and they can support us in transmuting and alchemizing. Actually, not only support us, they can really do that for us, okay? So the pillar number 1 is movement, as simple as it would be. Physical movement. Now, I know that there are a lot of therapists out there that are like, you got to go and do cardio, you got to go to the gym, you got to go for runs, da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-da. I don't advocate that unless I think or I know that it is easy for you to do that, or that access to a gym is something that you're familiar with and you're okay with moving that way. But the main thing I actually teach and preach on when it comes to a movement practice is ecstatic dancing. Now, ecstatic dancing is a practice that allows you to move in whatever fucking way you want, and there are no rules except that there are no rules. So ecstatic dancing, it is a practice that is based on shamanic backgrounds, And in the modern time and age today, a lot of people have gotten back to that or reinvented it. And so there is this nice hybrid between DJs playing specific sets and this shamanic trance dance ritual background, which comes really nice into a combination. So I call this mindful movement. A lot of people call it ecstatic dancing, but I call it mindful movement, because what we're doing in there is we're committing to a time frame of movement, physical movement. What's happening in that time frame doesn't matter. It can be very lovely, soft, humble movement, or it can also be very active and shaky movement. The music, if it's constructed well, like I construct my own mixtapes when it comes to that, when I guide my clients through these movement practices, I construct a mixtape that guides you through different rhythms and different movement practices. So that's the number one way that I advocate for, because it's available for everybody. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go anywhere. It doesn't cost any money. You can do it from your own home. It's an amazing workout, and you're usually moving all of your body. Especially in the ways I guide you through a movement medicine practice, we are moving through all our body parts, especially the ones that are accessible. If body parts aren't accessible to be moved, they shall be moved very lightly or hardly at all. Okay? So the first pillar is movement and mindful movement. Let me tell you why I call it trance dance, says Stephen. Exactly. Yeah, trance dance, it's also another branch. It's like this root thing of shamanic practice, movement practice, and then there has been like all these branches coming out of that. And the coolest thing about it is, even if people haven't done it before, even if people have been shy about it before they joined one, it's almost, no, not almost, it's always so much fun for them. It's always so much fun for them. It's a pleasureful practice. It awakens your channels because you're using pillar number one, movement, over a consistent time frame, and you're not allowing bypassing of the movement, because the commitment is I move my body in whatever ways it wants to move for these 1 or 1.5 hours. I have some mixtapes on SoundCloud, by the way, which I have made available for free, and they come with audio guidance, which means that I am talking to you inside of the mixtape and I'm giving you some guidance here and there. I'm happy to share those with you if you want them. Do you want them? Do you want the link to those mixtapes? Say mixtape in the comments. If you say mixtape in the comments, I will send them to you personally after the masterclass. Okay? Right. So that's pillar number one, movement. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, come on. Now, pillar number two, this is where it gets a bit more juicy and a bit more deep even. Pillar number two is breath. Breath awareness, breath work, and letting the breath work, right? So, since yoga practitioners are pretty aware of their breath and have been practicing pranayama techniques, which is breath techniques inside of the yoga practice since, I don't know, centuries, thousands of years. I don't exactly know when yoga came along, but it's pretty darn old, and it's an old wisdom that within our breath, there is so much power, especially when it comes to using our breath for emotional stability. Emotional clarity, emotional stability, a mental calm mind space. Now, more recently, there have been new ambassadors which have done research on breathing and breathing patterns and breathing techniques. Maybe Wim Hof is a familiar name to you. He's been getting famous worldwide for his practices, which one of them is a breathwork practice. And the beautiful thing about breathwork is it is a core outwards practice, which means, you know, sometimes when we're starting with like, oh, we're feeling things, and then we're starting with our mind to not feel them anymore, and then we fail at that because we're just not trained to have our mind as our ally yet, or our mind as our best friend who always supports us. What the breath can do is it can go one layer earlier than the mind kicks in. So let me explain that. I call it a core outwards approach because the way we breathe starts generating the way there is movement coming through our blood, oxygen through our veins, and it is a type of massaging our muscles from within. If the amount of oxygen in our vessels, in our blood veins, in our heart starts increasing, or when you want to release anxiety, you can start decreasing it by a different breath pattern. So you have both. You have the activation and you have the relaxation in breath work. And the power of it really is you're working without the mind. So you're not having to go into your thought process and change your brain waves, but you're starting with your breath. And you're starting to massage your body, your muscles from within. And now if energy is something that, as I explained in the beginning, we can identify, we can feel. Like if there is energy stuck, it usually also manifests in the physical realm. We start having lower back pain, we start having neck pain, we're starting to have any kind of pains in our joints or something. Most often that's connected to stuck energy. Now, if we're able to create a massaging movement, and I don't know if you've ever done a breathwork practice. If you have ever done a breathwork practice for over 30 minutes, you have experienced how that feels like. And believe me, it's incomparable to anything. Maybe it comes close to taking drugs of any kind. I'm not really into psychedelics. I haven't taken much myself, but I've heard descriptions and it gotten close to what I was experiencing and I am experiencing in my breathwork practice. So what is happening there is we are really flushing our body with energetic motion through the breath. And that is an experience that doesn't involve the mind. It involves the body. Same like the movement practice, actually, it doesn't involve the mind. We're letting the mind out of the game and we're working from another angle, another direction, another core, right? And so breath awareness, and especially breath work, aka letting your breath do the work for you, is pillar number 2 in these 4 pillars of alchemizing your emotions, right? Comment breathwork if you've ever done breathwork before. I'm curious here. My mind won't shut down, Steven says. Yeah, I hear that. Linda says, I'm hyped up at night. I listen and concentrate on my breath and usually fall asleep pretty quickly. Yes, that's what it is, letting the breath do the work, right? Because when we're giving power to the breath and we're allowing our mind to not interfere, our breath does the work on a level of the nervous system, right? We have two parts of the nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, and any kind of breath can nourish, or what's the right word, regulate that part of the nervous system. So we're having breathing patterns that can be activating for that one part of our nerve. You don't need to remember those names, by the way. I just want you to understand that there are two parts of your nervous system. One of them can activate your energy, it can wake you up. That's why I practice a specific breathing pattern in the morning when I wake up to get my energies going, and I practice a different specific pattern in the evening to get my energies lowering down. Yes, you itchy dog. You probably heard that. The microphone is so good. I want to introduce you real quick to Kaspar. Yeah, Kaspar, come here. He's the cutest dog ever. He's such a cutie. Hello. Hello. That's the microphone. You can say something. Hello, I'm Kaspar. I love breathing too. Breathwork facilitator. Yeah. Anyway, so he's my breathwork coach. He teaches. Just kidding. Mona Lisa, you're saying spot on, June. Yeah, you're very familiar with these practices. Okay, so that was pillar number 2. I thought somebody had a tambourine in the back. Yeah, Kaspar's cute, isn't he? He's very dorky. He's about 1 year old now, and he's just like, he's coming out of puberty, his little dog puberty. He was a pain in all my holes before that, and now he's getting a bit calmer. Very grateful. Anyway, away from dogs and back to our 4 pillars. So we looked at breath and we looked at movement so far, right? I think that's clear for you all so far. I can't give you, like I would love, but I can't give you all the practices in here because then we would be working together over weeks. That's why I created the 12-week program, because it just takes me weeks to get you into all of these practices. But I just want to give you a as deep as possible insight for these 1.5 hours that we're having time together here. Okay, so we're having breath, we're having movement. I'll share the mixtapes with you, by the way, for those that commented. I took note of your names, so I'll share them with you later. And let's move over to pillar number 4, which is called sound. Sound. This is where I have a very interesting relationship personally, because it comes from, right, your voice. So when we're looking at the chakra system, it said that our body is full of chakra centers, but we're mostly talking about 7 main chakra centers. And the chakra centers are energy spirals in our body. It's been researched by, this also comes from yogic tradition, but it also comes from, I think it comes from different corners. I'm not really sure who originally invented or researched the chakra system, but there is proof that we have these 7 chakra spirals in our body. And I want to zoom in with you on the throat chakra for a minute. I'm not going to tell you all about the chakras. You can Google it. It's really helpful information to know where you have to work on if you want to have more sexual freedom or more creative freedom or more confidence. And the throat chakra is usually connected to confidence, because the throat, opening the throat, means speaking truth, expressing truth in sound. So sound is another pillar that we can use and access in order to alchemize our emotions, because the sound landscape that we're using through our voice also has frequencies. It's waves. You've heard it. Sound is sound waves. So it's the same language as our brain speaks in wave, just a different kind of, radio channel. If our brain is a different radio channel, our voice is a different radio channel, but they all function with waves. They're all picking up sound waves and they're gifting sound waves outwards. So using our voice, and that's where I have a very interesting relationship to that, because that was a big working field for me personally, since I used to despise my voice. That came from trauma events in my childhood. I was always in the girls' choir and not in the boys' choir. I had the highest pitched voice amongst the boys back then, and so the teacher always put me there, and that gave me some identification issues, etc., which was connected to closing my throat, not speaking up, not speaking my truth, not allowing this vibrational signature to come through and be a pillar for emotional transmutation. Now, sometimes people talk about, to express yourself, you need to go to the top of the mountain and yell your soul out, and then you feel amazing. It's true. It's true. I mean, maybe it does more for people, for some people, and less for other people. But if you're using your voice as a medium for expression and for release, motion, you're bringing things here into motion. It alchemizes the energy, the emotion that is connected to the motion, right? So when we're looking at anger, I know that someone of you has commented anger. I think it was Richi at the beginning. Commented that anger is a thing. Oh my god, that's me, Steven. Yeah. So if anger was a thing, or still is a thing, to use the voice as a pillar to release and express it up until the extent where the energy is moved and it's not needed anymore to be moved can be a very helpful thing. Now, I have a bed here with pillows. The pillows are outside now in the fresh air, but usually what I'm doing is, when I feel overwhelming amounts of anger and I don't know what to do with it, instead of throwing it at my fellow friends or companions or vent on the internet or whatnot, I don't have a therapist anymore, by the way. Like, I work with coaches, but if you have a therapist, maybe you can vent to them. But I think it's greater to self-help ourselves through that, and then to work with someone as a coach and a mentor to bring us to a next level, instead of just holding space for our emotions. Because what I truly believe in is that we have the capacity to hold space for our own emotions, plus to transmute, alchemize, and release them. So yelling into a pillow, beating up the pillow, yelling into a pool or into a bathtub, really letting that anger come out through my voice can be an extremely releasing practice. If somebody sees me, I'm like, my coach told me to do so. They're like, oh, okay, cool. You're not mental then. Right? Shoot, I have to leave for work, things, but this has been very interesting for me. Thanks, June. I have a great rest of it. Yeah, thank you so much, James. Whenever you feel like it, you can catch the replay. We're at minute 40 right now, so you can tune in on the replay at minute 40 again at another day. Have a great work session, James. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so pillar number 4, sound. Give me a thumbs up or a sound in the comments if this is clear, if this makes sense to you, if you have underestimated what actually sound can do, sound expression. I'll read. Hello. Thanks for joining in. I don't know how long you've been watching this so far, but hang around with us. We're just looking at the 4 pillars of emotional transmutation, or the alchemy of energy in motion, of emotion. Okay, sound all clear? You got that? Makes sense? If not, ask a question, I'll get back to you in a minute. So the last pillar is one that is deeply, what was 3? Sound. So we have movement, we have breath, we have sound. Those are the 3 I already introduced, and now we're moving over to number 4, which is touch. And touch is a catalyst to remove guilt and shame, right? So I'm talking about physical touch mainly here, but it's also connected to being touched on the internal side, being touched on the emotional landscape, right? Being touched in your mental well-being. But I'm mainly talking about using physical touch as a catalyst. Now, there's practices out there such as tapping. You may have heard of the tapping solution. It's a practice that helps release stress and anxiety in a super simple way. We're figuring out core points on our body, and we're tapping them. We are tapping those core points of our body with our fingers. It's a whole thing. It blew up over the past years. If you search tapping, you're going to find a lot. That's one way to apply touch in order to alchemize emotions. Another way is soothing self-massage. Soothing self-massage. Really touching yourself as if you were your best friend. Touching yourself as if you'd love your body. Very, very deep self-love practice that is only or mostly communicated in tantric practices. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a whole fuss around the whole Tantra scene that there are people misusing Tantra as a practice, and I agree with that. I think a lot of bitches out there are just not doing it right. So for me, Tantra, it means communicating self-love. Not only self-love, expanded love. Expanded love, expanded pleasure, all of that. I wrote a whole course about conscious relating, by the way, so I'm really deep into that shit when it comes to it. And I never used the word Tantra. I just wanted to bring it up as a reference point for you if you have had experience with Tantra. I'm not sure if you had great ones or not. I think Tantra just basically means connection, right? So touch can be an extremely powerful pillar in order to alchemize our emotions. I feel guilty. I feel ashamed of myself. How can I counter that? How can I engage with the guilt and shame? How can I have a conversation with the guilt and shame? Can I apply touch as a pillar, as a practice? Yes, I can. I can touch myself into a humble self-loving space so that the guilt and shame, the voices of guilt and shame in my mind become smaller. Disappear at some point fully, possibly. Right? So touch is another practice. I also have a big relationship with touch. It's one of the things that I underestimated for most of my life, and I didn't practice for most of my life, especially because I just wasn't aware that there was a lot of guilt and shame stored in me. And through movement, through breath, I could do quite a bit, but I really needed to allow touch to come through me, and touch to be one of these catalysts in order to alchemize the emotional signature of guilt and shame and take that core energy. And by the way, if you haven't thought of it yet, let me make an example that applies to all 4 of those pillars. If you've done something that was phenomenal, or I don't know, you jumped off a 10-meter cliff into the ocean, or you went on a trip, you went on a hike, you've done something that you couldn't believe you did, you're automatically experiencing the alchemy of emotions, because you're getting into a certain state of high, of gratitude, of love, of appreciation. That's when you have a core energy that is already somewhere stuck in the body, and you moved it into a new experience. You moved with it into a new experience, allowing it to move with you and become a new experience. That sounded really good. I'm happy this is recorded. All right, so these are the 4 pillars I wanted to share with you today. We have movement, we have breath, we have sound, and we have touch. Okay? Got it? Got it? Comment got it if you got all of those, if everything so far makes sense to you. Got it. Yeah, it's important that you get that stuff. That's what you're here for. It was amazing. It was amazing. So that's the main part that I wanted to share with you. And I think your mind is probably filled with the knowledge and wisdom right now. So I thought, because I don't know what daytimes or night times y'all have right now, but I think it would be a beautiful experience if I'd help you integrate this new wisdom and just give you a little practice. I'll do it with you. We're going to do it together here so that you get to experience a little bit of alchemy of emotions, right? So I know that your brain now is in a beta brainwave state, which means the conscious mind. The conscious mind is active when you're learning, when you're receiving information, when you're thinking actively. And the beta brainwaves are quite fast usually. They're hard-working waves. That's why when we're consistently engaged and conscious and thoughtful and overthinking things, we are drained, because so much of these fast-paced brainwaves take time and energy to process our mind, and it drains our whole being, because our mind is connected to the nervous system, and the nervous system determines if we have energy or not, right? An attacked nervous system, an overwhelmed nervous system is drained. It is under stress. It is not okay. And a relaxed and a calm and a nourished nervous system communicates a different language to your mind. So what I want to do with you now, if you're open for it, don't worry, I'm not gonna woo-woo the shit out of you and take you on a trip to Valhalla. I can do that, by the way, but I'm not going to do that with you here in a Facebook live stream. But what I want to do with you is I want to get your brain waves to slow down a bit. Linda, you're saying interesting and very logical. Happy that you're following. Thanks for the feedback. I want to help you make your mind a bit more of your ally. And what I want us to do together is I want to introduce you to a breathing pattern that supports that. It supports nourishing your mind, making those voices in the mind calm down. It supports lowering or slowing down your brain waves. Okay? So my goal is to get your brain waves from beta to alpha, which is a bit slower. And alpha can be kind of like a dreamy state. It can be a very relaxed state. It can be a creative, awakened state. This is what you might kind of like experience after this. So what I want us to do together, I'm going to give you the pace of the breath, and I'm going to tell you how to breathe, because there's 2 options. You can breathe in and out through your nose, or you can breathe through your mouth, right? You can breathe through your mouth or through your nose. So what we're going to do for this one, we're going to use our nose. Even if it's a bit stuck in your nose, I encourage you to use your nose. If you completely can't breathe through your nose, you can still breathe through your mouth, and it will do similar effect, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through our nose for 4 seconds. We're going to hold our breath for 4 seconds, and then we're going to exhale through our mouth for 6 seconds. And we're going to repeat that pattern. Okay, so it's going to be like inhale through your nose, hold your breath, exhale through your mouth. Tiny pause, inhale through your nose, 3, 4, hold your breath, exhale through your mouth. You can even release a slight sound if you want to. Little pause there. Come on, tune in. Inhale through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through your mouth. Relax that body when you exhale. 5, 6. Little pause. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath. And let that shit go. Exhale through your mouth. 5, 6. Little pause. Now when you inhale, I want you to softly inhale into your belly, not the chest, down into the belly. Relax that pelvic floor. Inhale. Hold your breath. Exhale through your mouth. Let go. Little pause before we inhale. And in, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. When you hold your breath, try to not tense up. Just kind of hold it naturally. And let go through the mouth. A little pause there. If you're thinking, stop. Just breathe. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath. Trust this pattern. Trust me and trust this pattern. Exhale through your mouth. Let go. We're going to do a couple more, and we're going to lengthen our exhales even further. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath. And exhale slowly through your mouth. Just feel how you're emptying. Little pause there. And inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Relax your face. If it's tense, relax your face. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Inhale through your nose, deep and soft. Hold your breath. And release. Okay, however you want to continue breathing is up to you now. Attempt to keep this softness in your breath that you've established now. And if you notice that your body is more relaxed in certain spaces, then the breath has done its work. This was just about 2.5 minutes, a very short breathwork practice, which already has an effect, because every breath has an effect. I did some research recently. I think we are breathing 200,000 breaths a day in average. Don't quote me on it. I think I remember it right. It's a lot of breaths. And every breath that we take consciously or with a specific pattern and intention has a direct impact on our mind and our well-being. It's like we're missing out on so much nourishment if we don't do any conscious breathing. It's like a waste of breathing, actually. All right, give me in the comments, do you feel a little bit different from before the breath, before the breathing? Even if it's just that different, let me know in the comments. I see 5 people are still here. Not sure who y'all are. Facebook doesn't show it sometimes. It's a bit funny. I just see it when you comment, so let me know. How are you feeling? Are you all zoned out? Yes. Linda says yes. Marilyn says yes. Amazing. Yeah. I love letting the breath work. Steven says so different. It's just that much. It's just like 2.5 or 3 minutes. You just got dizzy for a moment. Okay. Okay, you good now? Sometimes when we breathe according to a certain pattern for the first time, and when we learn to really breathe deeper into our pelvic floor, into our belly, we're massaging a muscle that is called the... I'm having a blackout. I usually know the name of that muscle. I forgot. Who cares? I'll let you know later. Anyway, you wouldn't have to remember the name anyway. The thing is that when we're massaging that, gosh, the name is just gone. Anyway, usually when you're massaging that muscle for the first time and when it gets some movement through the bottom of your lungs, because you're breathing deeper into the bottom of your lungs, that can create a movement in your belly. And as we know, your colon and your belly are very connected to the way you feel. That's why after every heavy meal you feel like going to sleep, and after a light meal you kind of feel energized, right? So it interacts with each other through touch when we breathe deeper into our bellies. It's such a beautiful science. Anyway, so all of the things that I kind of like scratched on now, I'm going way more in depth into those inside of the Become Your Medicine program. So recently I've worked on recreating the program in a way that's available for you, even if you can't or if you don't want to join live calls. Like usually I hosted that program with only live sessions, and now I've created modules that are based on the previous live sessions that I, hosted for about a year now. I've hosted the program 3 times already. And I've created modules out of these essential practices, which are just available for you to digest and to receive and to integrate week after week. So if all of this is really interesting to you, reach out to me. I know that some of you already have shown interest in that program, and it's maybe not the right time right now. Maybe the finances are not sitting at the right spot. If that's the case, I feel you. I've had that before. I've engaged with my mentor a year before that I signed up to her program. So it took me a year to save the money to sign up to one of her masterminds, one of her 3-month programs. So I trust that everybody who really wants this and who really is ready to receive is also able to generate the funds on the financial levels for that. Yeah. So I want to open up the space for a little Q&A right now. We've been in the live stream for about an hour, and if there is anything that came up for you during our live stream right now, then I'm here for you for the next 15 to 20 minutes, I would say, and I'm open and available for you to give you high insights and quality feedbacks if you have any questions. Feel free to get personal, because I'm always personal, Do I take insurance? You mean the question that I'm connected to an insurance? No. I cannot do that because I don't live in most of the countries where my clients come from, so I haven't engaged in that process, and no, I can't. I'm not, how do you say that? Sponsored by an insurance? I think that's it. Oh, just kidding. No, all the money that you're sending through goes into my bank account, and it's a direct thing. There's no middleman, and yeah, there's nobody else involved in that process. so you know exactly where the money is going to. And like, I don't know if that's important for you. For me, it always is. When I spend money on something or someone, I want to know that they're making ethical choices. I am interested if they're vegan or not, you know, so that I know that that money gets reinvested into vegan things and stuff. So every time when I buy something, I'm like making sure that the store where I buy it, or the organization that produces it, or the coach that I'm hiring are either like connected to some sort of conscious development and stuff, right? And even better if they're vegan, as it should. I agree with you, Stephen, as it should, 100%. Okay, so shoot me with your questions if you have any. I'm gonna make sure that every one of you who wants the mixtapes, the Ecstatic Dance mixtapes, I saw that blah, 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 I took note of Linda, you wanted to have them. Stephen, you shall receive them. I'll send them through after the live stream. I can actually also comment them in here, so if anybody else, you know, wants them at some point, they can also just check them out. There's 2 of those on SoundCloud. You too, Stephen, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, where we invest our energy in the shape of money, it's being reinvested. So I always appreciate people making great choices when it comes to that. I think I'm lagging a bit because my SoundCloud is just opening. Let's see if I can copy that link for y'all. Copy that link, copy that link. Yeah, so whilst I'm doing this whole thing, copying links and stuff, I also want everybody who is watching the recording, the replay, there we go, hey, that's the wrong thing, don't do that, there we go. I also want everybody to know that the Become Your Medicine program, as compared to before it was always only available every 3 months, because I took a small group of people into it every 3 months and I guided them live, but now it's actually available anytime, at any day of any month, right? So I've set it up in a way that you can enroll at any time when the time is right for you, when your energy sits right, when your finances sit right, and you're ready to invest, you can enroll. And the moment you enroll in the Become Your Medicine program is the moment when you can access the 9 pre-recorded modules, which are, we have a breathwork module, a meditation module, a journaling module, a mindful movement module. There is a emotional release module at the end of the program. There's a conscious relating module, an integration module to help you like integrate practices, because we know that we're all really good at procrastinating. I know that, I know I'm good at it. So I had to come up and integrate tools that help me integrate self-care and self-love practices. So that's everything that the program comes with. If you sign up and you receive immediate access, of course I recommend that you take one of the modules, one of those 9 every week. Oh yeah, there's also a healing foods module where we're looking at diet and how to improve the way you eat in order to serve your mental health and your holistic well-being. So it's a really 360 holistic program that gives you growth and insights and practices from every angle you just can imagine, right? And so the moment you enroll, you receive access to those. You can only buy access to the modules and the Facebook community. By the way, the modules come with integration practices like audio files that I pre-recorded in an audio studio. So the practices always come with audio files or PDF files. And if you want to really take it to the next level, the program also can come with live calls, which I'm hosting on a weekly basis for 2 different time zones. They're usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays in my time zone, which I think in the States is 1 day previously. But I made sure that 1 call at least is available for every time zone in this world. So if you want that, if you really want to go deeper and not only access the modules, then the program is available with live calls. With the live calls, the whole program values $2,400 US, and without the live calls, simply access to the modules The Facebook group, there's a separate Facebook group for that in which you access the modules, and the Facebook group also offers you with the community where you can ask questions, right? And the integration files. So you can either have that for half the price of the whole program, which is $1,200 US, or you can have it with the live calls, which of course I encourage because I want to be live with you. You know, I want to make sure that you really integrate the practices and that you walk away with this momentum and with this growth spirit and with the integrated practices. And the only way I can assure that is when I'm having live coaching with you. So there's also an option. Some person just recently signed up to the program, and she signed up to the modules. She wanted to have the half price option, but she also wants to have the live calls yet on a later stage. So she just wants to do the modules first, and then once she's into the modules, she wants to start with the live calls. That's also an option. I'm super flexible with that. Yeah, just wanted to have that said for everybody who was curious about it, because I get asked a lot. They're like, oh, but what do I get? And is there another price option? Can I have it cheaper? Da-dee-da-da. Yes, you can. Now you know how. All right, I see that there's no questions coming through since most of you or all of you are a part in my Facebook group. You can always ask questions inside of that group or reach me via DMs. I get a lot of DMs recently, so sometimes it might take a while for me to respond, but I'm pretty good at it and I'll respond to yours. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and bless you all so much. Have a beautiful day or night. Mwah, wherever you are. Say bye in the comments. Bye, I love you. Yeah, let me grab those last links for you, just in case you wanted them. So the link to the Become Your Medicine program page with all the information, just shared it right now. I shared the link to the Ecstatic Dance, the Mindful Movement mixtapes with you, and I also am sharing the link to the Facebook group, the free one that I'm hosting, not the program Facebook group, but the free one. I'm also going to share that with y'all who are watching this recording who aren't in there yet. I know that most of you who are here right now live with me, you know that group. You've been in it, or you are in it. Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen. Really appreciate that. Enjoy your evening as well. Much love. There we go. There we go. That's the link to the Facebook group for anybody who wants to join the free Mental Health and Mindfulness Academy, in which I also share the recordings of these trainings in the guide section and more high quality insights and stuff. So yeah, see you all in there. Thanks, Linda. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you came through and that you checked out this live stream. We'll be in touch.